Manila Times, 9th of February 2024, is aggressive and hegemonic China anything that worries India? Before the communist takeover, Nepal was a free and democratic country, but China encouraged, allowed, and funded the insurgency and communist takeover. According to a U.S. media site, Haiyan, the deputy chairman of the Communist Party of China's CPC, Central Committee's International Department, made the first public statement that some nations attempted to harm China-Nepal ties during her recent visit to Nepal. She did not specifically mention any country, but an Indian expert quoted in the media report claimed that the statement was aimed at both India and the US to some extent. This isn't news in the strict sense. Whether or not Sun stated this, it is a fact that has happened recently in Nepal and other South Asian nations. China and the US, who both see themselves as the world's protectors, vie for influence on a global scale. Perceiving itself as the protector of South Asia, India fortifies itself against China on all fronts, considering the region to be off-limits. Washington and New Delhi are merely sowing discontent between China and smaller nations, forcing and persuading them, and creating gaps and difficulties in their mutually beneficial relations with China through the methods and means they are using to uphold their self-proclaimed defense. We're not going to discuss the US here. However, this does not have to be the model of coexistence between China and India. Instead, India should submit to Chinese demands. As we have long stated, the dragon and the elephant should not and cannot coexist. The worst-case scenario is to become entangled in the dragon-elephant dispute that Western and American public opinion has long set. But India holds a different perspective, and its foreign policy reflects an intensely competitive, even combative, attitude and mentality. This is evident in how India has recently handled its relations with its neighbors, including Nepal, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives. The US and Western public opinion have even viewed India's use of naval force in the Red Sea as a result of the growing competition with China. New Delhi pressures its South Asian neighbors to pick sides between China and India on several topics. This demonstrates two things: a disregard for these nations' sovereignty, a misrepresentation of China's actual threat, and the relationship between China and India. Recently, there has been exciting coverage of an occurrence by American media. During a meeting with students at the Indian Institute of Management Mumbai on January 30, Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar stated that India should prepare for an all-out conflict with China rather than be scared of it. He said India is in a very favorable situation in many ways and can confidently compete with China. Of course, this is addressed to the Indian audience at home, but the Chinese quickly object. Why was "be scared of" used? Why isn't aggressive and dominant China scared of India? Are the comments made by Jaishankar intended to uplift India? Does this support provide a favorable vibe for relations between China and India? Additionally, we would want to state that India need not be scared of China, but the underlying meaning of this statement differs significantly from Jaishankar's. China will grab what it wants after occupying Aksai Chin and various sections of Indian terror. Thus, India doesn't need to worry about it at all. Rather than yielding to an aggressive China, China and India may and should be adversaries. In a meeting with Liu Jianchao, the chairman of the CPC Central Committee's International Department, on January 24, Indian ambassador to China Pradeep Kumar Rawat stated that disputes are not the main focus of relations between the two countries. In addition to bringing advantages to the two peoples, he hoped that all parties might work together to go forward in harmony and promote peace and development on a regional and global scale. We also expect India's strategy toward China to incorporate this protective mindset and attitude more fully. For China to dupe them once more,